alongside me. In today's video, we are going to discuss about recent decisions of the Uttarakhand government to rename very famous hill stations of the state Lansdowne by the name of Jaswantgarh. So we are going to discuss in this particular video what is the rationale behind this particular renaming of the city, and also as we can see from past several years, and basically you can say since the time of independence, it has been there has been a lot of cases where the old name of the Indian cities has been changed. So what is the rationale behind such changes, and is it an attempt to erase the colonial legacy or colonial hangover? That is what we are going to examine in this particular video. So first of all, to give you the context of this particular issues, recently the Cantonment Board of Lansdowne has decided to rename the quaint hill stations, which are very popular hill stations basically for the people from North India, to Jaswantgarh. The new name is basically after a very valiant rifleman of Indian Army by the name of Jaswant Singh Rawat, who was also awarded posthumously Mahavir Chakra, one of the heroes of the 1962 war with India for with China. If we talk about this particular city, so as you can see from the map here, the city is situated somewhere about 280 kilometers from the Delhi and also about 130 kilometers from the capital city of Uttarakhand, that is Dehradun, in what we can call as the this middle Himalayas part of the Himachal Himalayas part of the Himalayan ranges. So who was the Lord Lansdowne, on which about so let us first try to understand who was Lord Lansdowne, on the name of which the city has been actually named first. So the question comes, that was Lord Lansdowne, and if you try to understand about during the time of British India, he was actually, his original name was Henry Charles Keith Patrick Fridge-Morris, and he was the fifth Marquis of Lansdowne, also a British politician who served as a Viceroy of India between 1888 to 1894. And it was during his we can say viceroyship, that we have a very important war that was fought between the Manipur kingdom and the British, that is called as Anglo-Manipur War of 1891. And it was during this time Manipuri heroes such as Veer Tikenrajit and General Thangal were hanged in public by British, and many others were basically sent to Kalapani. That means we can say they were basically exiled from the Indian territory. And it was during his viceroyship in year 1886, Field Marshal Sir F.S. Roberts, who was the then Commander-in-Chief of the British Army in India, recommended to raise a separate regiment of the Garhwalis people. Garhwal is again a part of Himalayan ranges in the state of Uttarakhand. And thus, after the recommendation of Sir F.S. Roberts, the Cantonment and Regimental Center for the training and recruitment of the Garhwal Rifles, that is located in a forest area popularly earlier known by the name of Kalundanda, which was situated at an altitude of 6,000 feet above sea level. And thus, it was actually the Kalundanda, which was the original name of the city. On the 21st September 1890, the Kalundanda was renamed as Lansdowne after the then Viceroy of India. Now coming to the new naming that has been done after the Rifleman Jaswant Singh. So let us try to understand about his history as well. So Rifleman Jaswant Singh was awarded the second highest gallantry award of India, that is Mahavir Chakra. Obviously the first or the highest gallantry award is the Paramvir Chakra. So basically if you look at his contribution, he had fought valiantly in what we refer today as the Battle of Nurana, which was a battle that was fought against the PLA, that is People's Liberation Army of China, in the Northeast Frontier Agency. That was the name of the region before. Now this same Northeast Frontier Agency has been renamed and given a statehood of Arunachal Pradesh on the 17 November 1962. So Jaswant Singh that time was serving in the 4th Battalion Garhwal Rifles. And now you can understand that in the Garhwal Rifles, if you look at their origin place, their birthplace, it was the Lansdowne, and that is why the naming of Lansdowne is proposed to be changed to Jaswantgarh. Also, if you look at the official records of the Indian military, it seems that his battalion had beaten back 2 Chinese charges, 2 Chinese assaults on their position. And even if you look at the local folklore, it says that he was aided and fought by the 2 local girls, one of whom was killed and other was taken captive by the Chinese forces. And it was during this time Rifleman Jaswant Singh managed to hold back successive Chinese attacks until he succumbed unfortunately to his injuries. So this is all about this particular cases of renaming of the city of Lansdowne to Jaswant. Now the renaming of Indian cities has been going on for quite a long period of time, but recently it has picked up pace. For example, if you look at the recent times, many cities, especially in the states such as Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, have been changed. For example, Allahabad's name has been changed to Prayagraj, and then you can see like Faizabad as name has been changed to Ayodhya, and thus we can say Mughal Sarai, which used to be a very important railway junction in the northeastern railway, it has been changed to Deen Dayal Upadhyay Nagar. So these are the changes that has been done in recent times. So let us try to understand that what is the rationale behind such changes. Now, the reason behind the changing names of the cities can be attributed to several factors. The first, obviously, is the rapid urban development of India, because the pace at which the infrastructure of India is growing at such it's so high that every year some new cities, towns, cantonment boards, or we can say major hubs develop in different parts of India, and that is why new names have to be added continuously. Second, if we talk about it, also basically provide a sense of identity to the cities, which is basically Indian in nature, because during the British time a lot of Indian names, Hindi names, also the regional languages names of the cities has been transformed to somewhat we can call anglicized name, because it was easier for the Britishers to pronounce and understand. Third, it also is a way of giving tribute or homage to the national heroes. For example, the people who have contributed significantly in our freedom struggle, the people from the Indian military who have contributed valiantly in the several wars India had fought after independence, and also many people who have contributed in different areas such as economics, art, history, culture, governments, and all this. So one way of paying tribute to them is naming the cities or places on their name. For example, APJ Abdul Kalam, if you talk about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was also the president of India before, so many places has been renamed after him. For example, island near the coast of Orissa, that is Wheeler Island, has been named as Abdul Kalam Island. So the tribute to national hero is a very important we can say rationale or reason behind renaming of the places. Fourth is communal pride and identity politics. If you talk about the negative connotations or negative how we can perceive this renaming as a negative, because many times political parties too, for their vote bank politics, also try to play upon the communal pride and identity politics and try to rename the cities to gain vote from a particular part of the society, a particular part of the voting we can say voters. And thus we can say political changes also is very evident, because whenever any other political party come in power, they want to name cities and places which can be named after the major political leaders of their own political parties. This we see in case of all the political parties, whether it is the national parties or the regional parties. So what are the advantages of renaming places? Now, obviously, first advantage is that it helps us in preserving our culture, because in many of places, for example, the name of Gurgaon has been changed to Gurugram recently. So basically, when such renaming is done, people become interested to know the story behind these changes, and thus all this naming. For example, Gurugram, the rationale behind changing of this name is because it is related to a story that is written in the Mahabharata. So thus, by knowing the cultural background, knowing the historical backgrounds, it helped in preserving the culture of India as well. Second, it helps in reviving the civilizational consciousness. Many times, what happens, the particular role a person has played, or particular role a particular event or event has played in the history of India, that is start to disappear from the overall consciousness of the people, because of the what we can say a long time has passed. Thus, renaming of the cities help also in regaining of this consciousness, understanding about our past history. Third, it also helps in controlling the values inscribed into public places, because any public place spaces there, particular places or cities are there. If a particular name is assigned to them, that also underlines the historical importance. For example, Varanasi, we have Kasi is there. So these all are related to the religious undertones. And last, we can say obviously economic benefits can also be reaped, because what happens when you rename the cities, it also give a wider understanding about the image of that city, wider understanding about what the city has to offer, and thus it can also attract a lot of investment, and thus helping in reaping the economic benefit out. However, it is not only the advantages that we have to understand. The renaming of the cities and places also have a lot of challenges. And the first and foremost challenges is obviously it creates confusion among Indian populace as well as people that are outside India, especially if you talk about such places which are very well known. For example, say suppose Agra, and if we start to rename the city of Agra something differently tomorrow, it will create a lot of confusion and can also affect the tourism. So that is one problem. Second is many experts believe that changing of the names does not achieve anything concrete. Rather, it is just tangible changes, because people who have been living in that city, nothing will change for them. They still will have same facilities. They will still will have the same day life, and they still will carry the weight from the past. So changing of names does not achieve anything in concrete, rather than increasing the amount of paperwork and increasing the expenses that we can discuss in high economic cost that is associated with changing of the names, because obviously everything now have to print it fresh. All the old materials, especially the government materials, government document that has been printed with the old names have to be discarded and new materials have to be printed. So also naming of the boards and everything has to be done. So that incurs a high economic cost, and that is where basically we have to do the risk reward. Basically what we can say is whether the changes are sufficient enough, or whether the changes are tangible enough to justify this high economic cost. And last we can write is the cultural genocide that also happened. This always has been alleged, because especially we talk about in recent times, we have the change of the names that has been done from the Mughal times to what we can say related to some ancient Indian names. So many people claim that this is a way of majoritarianism, or this is a basically attempt of majoritarianism to basically erase the history of the other minority section. So it is akin to cultural genocide. So basically it is a combination of positive and negative impacts and challenges that we face in renaming of the city. So in regard to all this changing of the names or renaming of the places, what has been the stand of the Supreme Court, the highest court of India? So very recently, PIL, that is Public Interest Litigation PIL petition, was filed in Supreme Court that sought to rename, develop, or sought to establish a renaming commission that will focus on the ancient India. Basically, the PIL was such that a renaming commission will be established, and this commission will find out the name of all the places which has been renamed either during the British India or during the medieval times, and then we have to convert these names, that is the names that are more related to the ancient India. So in this regard, court has basically dismissed this PIL, and it issued a very strong statement in favor of rule of law, secularism, and constitutionalism, and warned against such intolerance, or what warned against what we can say a kind of communalism, that is a kind of angle of communalism that we are seeing in such kind of renaming. And the Supreme Court has said the country cannot remain a prisoner of the past. And also the bench has criticized the petitioner for going by the playbook of those who invoke history selectively. Invoke history selectively means only focusing on one particular timeline of history, while trying to erase and forget the other timeline of history. That is being done here, because now the attempt is being made to basically highlight the history of ancient India and erase or forget the history of the medieval India. So this is something that has been done by the few people, and this court has criticized that do not do such kind, or do not engage in such kind of processes. And because the reason is such kind of phenomena, such kind of event create schisms, a big divide in the society on the basis of religion and creed. So that is all about the state of Supreme Court. So I hope you understood about the current news of renaming the places such as Lansdowne to Jaswantgarh, and the major rationale behind the other renaming that has been done in the past. That is all for this particular video. If you like the video, please hit like, share it with fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you.